welcome to our Conscious Leaders Circle, where we meet once a month to support each other through these epic and changing times, to be more grounded, energized, and focused, and live a centered, connected, and conscious life. And today we're going to talk about the concept of balance, the ancient principles of yin and yang that govern our life in every way, and how we can tune into those principles and create a better life for ourselves. But first, I'd like to go around to the group. You don't have to participate, but if you wanted to say hello and where you're from, and what was interesting about the topic tonight, the topic of balance that sparked your interest. Anybody want to go first?
Can you say the question again? Sorry.
We're just going to go around and say hi and where you're from. And then if you had any notions, opinions, or anything about what balance means to you, like what is like when you think of balance, what does it mean to you? Which is the topic of our discussion this evening.
Okay, I'll go first because I'm on the left.
Okay.
I I know Lydia like forever. I won't say how many years, but I don't remember how many years. So
See,
it's been
Dan,
a while.
you don't remember anymore.
It could more than 15. That's all I'm gonna say.
It
So
has
I'm
to
in
be, it has to be almost 20, Martin. So I've been
okay,
here
well that
10.
I don't remember anything before that. So I've had two vehicles since I've met Lydia. So I'm in a rural area of southern Ontario. 45 minutes from Nancy by my little tiny truck. And loving it, loving it, loving it. Don't want it to go, don't want it to change, but change is happening. Oh,
That's
Martin's my name.
one of the constants of the universe, is one of my ancient universal
Yeah,
principles. Everything changes,
yeah.
right? So let's celebrate the change and master it. Well, thank you, Martin. Thank you. Joyce, did you want to share anything?
Sure. I'm Joyce from Kansas in the United States, and balance to me is just getting out in nature with my animals and just reconnecting. Sometimes we get so caught up in all the all everything that's going on around us and everything that we have to do and everything, and just getting back in nature and connecting with nature and animals is how I find a balance in life.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Joyce. And then we have that in common. So I can relate to that very much. Nancy, would you like to share anything?
Okay. Nancy from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, as you all know. And for me, balance is being in tune with my inner knowing and my inner balance. And I like being in nature too. But I also find I thrive on my best when I play tennis. I can kill the ball, murder it, do whatever and feel good about it and just blow off some steam and just come back happy and go lucky. And for me, that's my balance. And also animals too. But since I don't have a pet anymore, just being out in nature in the summer and yeah, playing tennis all the time. That's
Well, this
pretty
is
much
this
where
is
my
wonderful,
balance.
Nancy, that you can identify what creates that balance of releasing stress, of reconnecting with yourself.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Dan, if you'd like to share.
Absolutely. I like Nancy's idea of balance. That sounds like it's for me. Although you don't ever want to see me play tennis. I'm Dan Schneider, and I'm also from Mississauga, from Clarkson area. And Lydia, I think we've known each other for since 2005. So I don't know
Dan
where all the
remembers the
time goes.
dates.
I do remember the dates. I think for me, balance may mean, I had to think about this in a few seconds, but I think balance for me is how can I create a safe haven for myself within all this ever-changing stuff going on in the world?
Powerful, Dan, powerful. And that's exactly it. To hold that sacred space within ourselves so that we always remember our true essence and therefore our power, regardless of the circumstances around us. And this is what I call Taoist non-attachment. We can call it whatever we want, but it's ultimately being centered, connected, and conscious. And we each have the natural ability, energy, power to be in our own space as we navigate. And we don't have to, as I say, we don't let the circumstances of life, we let the circumstances of life flow around us, not drown us. So sacred space, Dan, is phenomenal. And when we commit to that, we can really, really feel it. Lucy, was there anything you wanted to share with us today?
Well, I live in Toronto, and balance to me is knowing who you are and being open to what's going on around you and to be flexible. Uh, and I think that we have to change with time, but I believe that there are people that are trying to make the change faster than we are ready for. And I think that communication is very important. And I think we all need to be ourselves, but we have to be able to listen to what somebody else says, because if we don't, we're going to have them and us.
What powerful words of wisdom. Thank you, Nancy. Lucy, sorry. Nancy's on my brain. Thank you, Lucy. And as you're speaking, Lucy, it reminds me everything you shared of focused presence with ourselves, with others, to be able to be still, silent, listen, observe, without attachment, to allow that flow. Very powerful words of wisdom. So thank you so much, Lucy. Daniela, anything that you wanted to share? You don't have to, but you're welcome to.
Sure. I'm Daniela. I'm in Vaughan, in Ontario. And when you first asked the question, my mind immediately went, oh, balance of all the things in my life, like child and responsibilities and all of that. And then it shifted to actually, I think the balance is just my own happiness and listening to what's important to me. And then the first person shared theirs, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's so funny that my mind shifted that way. And so it's pretty cool to hear everybody's kind of saying the same kind of thing about listening to self or being connected with themselves. And I never would have thought that that would be balance to me. I always thought it's all the outer things to find balance, but I don't think it actually does work that way. And I wouldn't have thought about that at all unless we had this call and you asked that question. So interesting insight for me this evening already in the first 5 minutes.
Well, we're expanding our awareness, right?
Yeah.
So we ignite insight and expand awareness and align our vision. And then we can take inspired action. And this is the beauty of a group and a live interactive group, is that just by sharing who we are in the moment, we can activate aspects of others that are ready to be awakened without trying, right? So that's really beautiful, Danielle. Thank you. Yes, we need both. We need external and internal balance. In the old teachings, they say that the outer makes balance with the inner, and the inner makes balance with the outer, as above, so below. All of those dualities of balance. So naturally, our external world will create balance with our inner state of being. And there's multitude of tools to help us to do that. So, and Cheryl, are you interested in sharing anything this evening? It's up to you.
Oh
Nope.
yes. Hi. As you mentioned, I'm from I live in Toronto. Um, And I'm more downtown, and I basically don't don't have enough balance in my life, and I like always enjoy the circle because I like the energy and the ideas that people share, and so I hope to get some ideas. Right now, it's an area that I need to grow in.
Well, thank you so much, Cheryl. We're always honored that you join us. And I've mentioned before, we met way back at the Royal Ontario Museum when I was doing workshops there. And so here we
Right.
are, it's all divine timing. So what we're going to do next is a little exercise to bring awareness and to help us remember to be centered, connected, and conscious. And then I'm going to go over my column on balance. And then after that, then we'll open it up for discussion and then decide on one aligned action we're going to take moving forward after our call today so we can consolidate everything that we have absorbed. And then you have to report back to me. No, you don't. You can if you want at the next Conscious Leader Circle. And then if we hopefully we'll have time, if you're interested, we will do a silent long distance Reiki session. So we still have time to fit it all in. So what we're going to just do right now is take a nice deep breath. And you want to, in your own way, very simply, get centered in your core energy. Connected to your essence and power. And become conscious of who you are, your thoughts, your beliefs, and your choices. It can just be a feeling. And then ask yourself, what am I creating in my life? Could be within yourself, could be outside of yourself. What am I creating? And what do I want to create? Just bringing awareness. And then we want to embody the energy of how you would like to feel in your day. And we'll do the I am statement. I am blank. I am at peace. I am energized. I am focused, whatever. So that's a private relationship with you to say I am. And we want to remember that now. I am the energy, the feeling of how we want to feel during the day in our life. Okay, so let's let that absorb. And that was a very little mini exercise for us to come into our center. And I am going to now move into the column on balance. I'm going to do screen share. Share. There we go. And there is an exercise for us to utilize in the column. And the exercise is not completed today, but it's something you can continue with after our session today. So I was asked to write for Expert Profile magazine a few years ago, and I developed this series of columns called Moving Beyond Mindset with Ancient Universal Principles. And very much like Nancy was saying, to access our inner knowing, to recognize that we have intellect, but we also have intuition and what I call our AI, advanced intelligence and sacred intelligence. So this column is on the concept of balance. And as many of you may know, my background in macrobiotics includes Taoist understanding and approach to life. And my mentor is Michio Kushi. I have many mentors, but my mentor in Taoism and macrobiotics is Michio Kushi. And Michio Kushi used to say, if we live our lives in that spirit of balance, we don't have to worry about the future. It will appear because we made room for it. So this really embodies so much of what we shared already. Dan talking about the sacred space, making room for our future, for our flow, and living our lives in that spirit of balance, of the external and the internal, and the energy, the feeling of what you want to embody as you live throughout your day. The concept of balance is now respected, not just for health and well-being, but as a key to personal and professional success. Work-life balance, managing energy and stress, preventing burnout, valuing both your inner and outer accomplishments, is what we were talking about earlier, and the principle of give and you shall receive are part of the collective awareness that consciously creating balance benefits both you and the planet. Balance is good for your soul. So welcome to my 13th column, exploring how to move beyond mindset with ancient universal principles. The 12 ancient universal principles of my high performance wellness coaching will help you master the most fundamental principle in the universe, balance. When you create balance, when we consciously create balance, which is an evolution, it never ends, then you create the space, what Michio Kushi was talking about, where we don't have to worry about the future because we created the space, and what Dan was talking about, for limitless growth. You live your birthright of abundance and peace. And we want to become conscious that we have birthrights of health, happiness, peace. And yes, there are lots of trials and tribulations in life, but we're moving out of 13,500 years of darkness into the next 13,500 years of light, and we can become conscious leaders of our own lives in the world and in embracing these fundamental ancient universal principles. So one of my favorite sayings when I was in my deep cocoon of healing is, a miracle is Mother Nature coming into balance. So we all know the ancient symbol for yin and yang, the circle with the wave in the center and the speck of one in the other. And that's generally recognized as a universal symbol of balance, to live in harmony, wholeness, and freedom, to be centered, connected, and conscious. In the midst of the rapid change of our uncertain times, balance is the key to unlock the door to your greatest growth and inner power. When in balance, you are grounded, you are energized, you are focused. Balance is the essence of the most ancient science on the planet, yin and yang. Balance will not only restore your connection to yourself, creating a life of fulfillment and purpose, but it will also catapult you onto the upward spiral of infinite growth, the fast track to achieving your goals with flow, ease, and unprecedented heights of success. We are now at the time where we are breaking through old limiting barriers. We're creating new mindsets, new possibilities, which is what the Zero Limits movie that I have a feature in is all about. Creating that new paradigm of what is possible, and balance is at the center of it. In macrobiotic Taoist teaching, they always talk about spiral. Everything moves in a spiral in the universe. So a spiral on its side an expanding spiral on its side is a wave going up. And the wave going up, you want the hills and the valleys, the peaks and the valleys to have small variability. And while there's natural yin and yang, alternating current moving through everything, we want that to be as balanced as possible. So our life is not full of extremes and full of recovery from depletion and overwhelm. So in our modern world, we often think of miracles as something outside of us, a monumental event that leaves us awestruck, an occurrence that is both unexpected and seemingly impossible. But miracles are just an expression of Mother Nature, the universal principles of yin and yang coming into balance. From the smallest subatomic particles to your greatest hopes and dreams, miracles are always in creation because of the endless flow of energy in the universe. So my mentor and guide, the great macrobiotic forefather Michio Kushi, reminded us that every cell in your body is constantly trying to achieve balance, to detoxify, repair, and regenerate despite your bad behavior. So that was sort of the language used 40 or 50 years ago. And today we would say, well, we're trying to do the best that we can. And so we'll just quote Michio in his original expression. But so even if we at first don't succeed, we try again because the universe is supporting us. It is comforting to know that the universe never judges. It always has your back. The universe supports you unconditionally in creating balance. So one of my favorite mantras that I created when I was healing is from nothingness, all is created. So we'll talk about that here in the next section. So balance is the epicenter of your existence. When faced with a challenge or desire that seems insurmountable, there are times when the best course of action is to do nothing, to not try so hard, to surrender, let go, and be. As a high performer, as a highly evolved spiritual being on planet Earth, your drive can lead you to push so hard that you exceed your capacity for energetic sustenance. In this state of strain and depletion, you become out of balance. Perspective is lost, solutions are strained, and the path forward is shrouded in stress, angst, frustration, and exhaustion. Now, none of this is right or wrong. These are just different states of being that we are experiencing, always trying to come back to our center to create balance. And it's dynamic. It's a dynamic process. We keep evolving with it. So in my own experience, when I pull back, when I rest, reset, and release attachments to my mental constructs of what I am experiencing, I free myself from the constraints of the mind. I move beyond mindset into the flow of the most powerful and benevolent force in the universe, nothingness. So from nothingness, all is created is the inner power of becoming an empty mind, empty vessel, where neither thought nor resistance exists. It is the 0 point of universal balance, the space of infinite abundance where anything is possible. So becoming empty mind, empty vessel, returns you to a state of balance that allows you to naturally, easily deflect external stressors while maintaining peak performance or simply doing what it is you love to do, which is what I consider peak performance. Solutions appear in a flash, burdens dissolve in an instant, and energy is restored. And when I teach my Reiki students channeling Reiki, these are the same principles. We become the empty vessel and we allow the energy to move through us, which is why when I work intensively with clients with serious health conditions or tumors, their progress, their healing, or the dissolving of the tumors can happen quite naturally and easily because we're allowing the infinite flow of the universe to move through us without overthinking what is happening. There's an ancient proverb that was often shared in macrobiotics. Your destiny is determined by what you say and what you eat. Because the first ancient universal principle is everything is energy. So in ancient teachings of energy balance, the center of your being is the throat area. The throat is the place of true balance of body, mind, and spirit. The center of your physical body is in your lower abdominal area, your hara, near your belly button. The center of your spiritual and mental bodies is in your head, your higher energy centers, your forehead and your, what we call the crown chakra. So specifically your forehead and the top of the head. The energy of the body meets the energy of the mind and spirit at the throat. The throat area is the energetic center of your entire being. And we often talk about, again, feeling centered in our physical aspect or in our mental, emotional aspect. But when we unite the two, it's in the area of the throat. So understanding this balance in the body will help you become more aware. So you live with more discernment, responsibility, and flow. With greater awareness of the importance of what you say or don't say and what you eat, you can give greater consideration to these choices and how they impact you now and in the future. So we're going to do a little exercise. If you have a pen and paper, to start to write down some of these steps and go through it. And we'll start today and you can continue on after today. So to begin to create balance in your life, we can use my 12 ancient universal principles as guides, as roadmaps. And the beautiful thing about the 12 ancient universal principles is they can be used on their own, just spontaneously, like pulling a card in a deck, or we can develop our intuition, our inner knowing, our greater connection with ourselves, so that when we go to use the 12 ancient universal principles, then it's easier for that inner flow state to be ignited and for us to be more divinely aligned and guided. So any way you want to use them is really up to you. So this is a brief exercise to consciously create balance. So first, let's take a moment to take a few deep breaths. And when you're practicing this at home, you can set aside 2 minutes to reflect on the following. So as we started our circle today, when you think of balance, what first comes to mind? So we've already explored that, but you can write that down again for yourself. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much stress are you feeling? So we can define stress in this context as very broad. Frustration, overwhelm, anxiety, all sorts of stressors. How much are you feeling? So we want to have a baseline for us to be able to reflect on. And this is only for you. No one else is going to see this. So this is cultivating your relationship with yourself, your inner knowing. Then ask yourself, does my life feel balanced? So we'll take a moment to think about that or write that down. And again, there's no right or wrong. We're just evolving. Number 2, what feels strained or drained in my life consistently? Number 3, have I outgrown my present circumstances in life? Am I ready to grow to my next level? And number 4, have I identified what brings me the greatest joy, passion, and purpose?
Can you repeat 3 again, please?
Sure. Have I outgrown my present circumstances in life?
Thank you.
Am I ready to grow to my next level? You guys can see my screen, right? You have the screen share?
Okay.
Yeah, but you can ask the questions. I just wanted to make sure everybody can see my screen since I've already read the whole column. Okay, good. And then we want to ask, how often am I living my passion, purpose? How often am I living feeling strained? That, just have a reflection on how often am I living all of this? And then we go to the 12 ancient universal principles, which are the essence, the underpinning, the foundation of balance is the essence, the underpinning, the foundation of yin and yang. So we're going to choose a principle without overthinking. So there are 12 of them. And for the sake of time tonight, I'm not going to go through every single one. But what I would recommend, if you can see the screen, is to just spontaneously choose one. Just choose number 2 or number 6, whatever one that pops out at you, and write down that universal principle.
Now I go.
And we don't need to understand it. We want the frequency, the energy of that principle to move through us now. So on a piece of paper, in a journal, I like putting mantras or reminders or principles on sticky notes throughout my house to help me align with the new information that's coming in. So however you like to be reminded of the essence of the energy that you want to embody, which is what we started with, and the ancient universal principle will help you do that, then do that exercise of writing it on a sticky note or beside your bed or over your mirrors or over your kitchen sink or at your light switches. So it subconsciously just starts to move through you without intellectual understanding. So allow the essence of this principle to naturally move through you. So now we're going to go down to the next section. Here we go. We're almost finished this here. Okay, here we are. So in 3 to 5 days, return to questions 1 to 4, the questions that we outlined. And then without overthinking, just write down any new insights, or if you don't like writing, just think about it. Any new insights or awareness for those questions. And then notice how you feel in your body, in your chest, in your throat center, the center of balance. And then ask yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, how much stress do I feel? Or how much overwhelm or anxiety or frustration am I feeling? And then we want to become conscious of the energy that we're carrying, the feeling that we're carrying as we go forward. And with this simple exercise, which requires no meditation and no real time commitment, using one of my 12 ancient universal principles, you'll begin to guide yourself back to balance in the center of your being. You'll become more centered, connected, and conscious, and get unstuck and begin to feel the inner relief that you can direct your life in your own time and in your own way. We are each unique, highly evolved spiritual beings, and we have our own way of living. So one of my favorite quotes from Rumi is life is a balance of holding on and letting go. Balance is the foundation of the new paradigm of what I call high performance wellness, where we honor ourselves and we honor our inner state of being as much as our outer accomplishments, the wellness of who we are. Creating balance is the art of living, learning when to apply yourself and when to pull back. This dance of yin and yang is meant to be playful and authentic. Every experience, ambition, and desire illustrates the balance you need to grow and achieve your goals. When you reflect and make decisions with discernment and connection, you create a pathway of balance where ease and flow lead to long-term sustainable success, and however you want to define that, in living your passion, and however you want to, define fulfillment and success. As you commit to creating balance in your life, you honor who you are, your essence and power. In the empty space of nothingness, miracles are created and potentials are limitless. You trust in yourself, that inner knowing, and the universe. And you need not worry about the future because you have embraced the path of self-mastery. You have become the conscious leader of your life and a conscious leader of the world just by being in the world and sharing your beautiful energy and your gifts and talents with the world. And then you begin to reclaim your sovereignty of body, mind, spirit, and live with that abundance and peace that is your birthright. So that is my column on balance. And I would love to hear any thoughts about balance as we go into the next part of our circle. Was anything came up for you during the discussion? Martin.
Yes, so I find for me that I am sometimes not in balance and sometimes I am. So there's uh, coming and going of both, going from yin to yang to yin to yang, and it's very um, frustrating. Um, but somehow I've been able to pursue balance. The goal is still there, even though I know it's like not right away. And I'm getting suggestions, I'm getting help and, different places. But I realize that it's something that I have to work on. So I have to do work to get the balance and realize I'm in the chaos or whatever you want to call it, the in-between zone. And this is really helpful. So thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure. That's what we gather for. And thank you for sharing your personal awareness of balance. And you're saying it can be really frustrating. So I'm just curious, what is it like when it comes up for you, the frustration, like what's an example of that?
Right now I have health concerns, and when the allergic reaction to paint, dust, too much pollution, and then I have a nosebleed or I get tired, I have a reaction to all this stuff.
Mm.
And so I've done testing and, x-ray and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to get help. And I realize my energy goes up and then down and up and down. So I'm trying to do the work. So there's only so much I can do.
Well, this is beautiful, Martin, because you have that awareness and you're understanding your capacity. So balance is the epicenter of our existence, the art of living, and capacity is the epicenter of balance. So when we can understand our capacity in anything, our energetic capacity, in companies, in organizations, the capacity, to grow and expand, then we can know our limit and live within it. And that's what you're saying. There's only so much I can do, and so we're each on a path of self-discovery. We're each on a path of self-mastery, and that upward spiral continues. But with awareness of these sorts of principles, then it can become much easier. It's, it's like, the blinds are taking off our eyes, and we can start to navigate and move forward with baby steps, often in the right direction, without beating ourselves up, right? Because we're always in a process of growth. And well, if we choose to be, but we're also in a process of learning. Put it that way. I was in a process of learning. But thank you, Martin. Thank you very much. Anybody else want to share anything that has come up about balance before we go into our session, our Reiki? Dan.
Yeah, I can. I'm a I'm a boy of summer. I love summertime. I spend my whole year looking forward to summer. And when spring comes, it's like my favorite time of year is the spring because it gives me a chance to look forward to summer. But ever since I was a kid, as I'm coming into the fall time, I'd feel this sinking feeling because it's like, oh, it's over. And now this re, when I saw the universal principle of everything has a beginning and everything has an end, it really made me think about my love for the oncoming of summer and then how I feel as it's coming to an end. It's like this sense of sadness. But but when you understand the principle, like I kind of had a little bit of a clarity when I saw that, is that it teaches us to let go of that, to let go of it and to accept that yes, everything does have a beginning, everything does have an end, and summer will be back again. And we're going to go through that cycle again, and we just have to appreciate it for what it is. And if we can teach ourselves to, or if we can get ourselves just to let go of that, then that fear or that sense of doubt or those feelings tend to fizzle away because we just know it's going to, it'll be back and we can appreciate every phase for what it is.
Master Dan. That you just gave
I'm
a
blushing
whole
now.
you just gave a whole, explanation of Taoist non-attachment, right? So we let go, right, of our attachment to what holds us back or what stifles us, as we understand these principles. And yes, beautifully said. Everything has a beginning, has an end. It applies even when we're in the stage that we don't like. And we just go and then we celebrate. I remember watching a movie a long time. I think it was Lorenzo's Oil. Do you guys know Lorenzo's Oil from a long time ago about the child with autism and the parents found an oil to help him or something? And the very end of the movie, it said there was some ancient mantra. Life has meaning only in the struggle. Let us celebrate the struggle. So I like to change our life has meaning in the struggle. I would say only, but so let us celebrate as Dan was saying, the phases, right? The seasons, And then when we're in our favorite season, yes, it may come to an end, but the season that's not so great will come to an end as well. And then we can stay more in joy and have the power to cultivate, as we talked about in the beginning, the feeling that we want to feel inside. So Dan can feel like it's summer inside all the time, right? We can embody the energy of that season, the smell, the the air. And for you, you love the water, Dan, right?
I love sailing.
Yeah. So that can be embodied anytime. That can be, and we can hold that joy within us in any season of life or any season of circumstance. Thank you, Dan.
Oh, thank
Master
you.
Dan.
Master
Master Dan.
Lydia.
Yes, and Master Martin, and all of you. So we're all masters. We That's right. We are just awakening to that, and it's not. We want to feel good about that. We don't want to hide anymore. Our expression of our wisdom, our sacred wisdom. Uh, Anybody else want to share anything?
Yeah,
Yeah, Nan.
sure. I'll share. It's funny that Dan said he loves summer because I do. I always tell people I'm solar powered. But and I the same kind of I feel like I always look forward to spring and summer. It was amazing. Everybody was complaining about the heat and I was thriving. And but now that I'm seeing the end, I'm not seeing as like, okay, I know it's coming back, but then I'm also thinking, well, I'm an unlimited being. Why don't I just move to somewhere tropical? And this is what I'm planning. Like, I thought, well, why not wait? Why wait till the summer? Why not go to the summer? And that's what I'm working on planning so that I can be there in the winter for 6 months and then come back for the spring here for another 6 months and be able to enjoy that all year round and just build that and bring my light or my knowledge to wherever, you know. So that's where I'm thinking, yeah, I can take my balance in nature and I can create that and well, still being here for now, but yeah, and I find that challenge and that decision I made kind of lights a fire on me to like when I get resistance. It's like, well, but I'm going towards something I want, and that kind of inspires me more, I find. Even if there's times of unbalance, just thinking about what I would do out there, it brings me right back. So, yeah.
You're an action taker, Nancy.
Not always, not always. There are times that I feel like if I'm like overwhelmed, I kind of escaped and I listen to stories or read or something, and that takes me out. But then once I go into that whatever storyland or la la Land, then I come right back and I'm like, okay, I've recharged. I'm going for it. And I find that works for me. I need to like kind of escape a little bit for a little while and then come back. And then that just recharges me, because now as the tennis season is coming to an end, I need to do something. Yeah. And I haven't committed to indoor tennis because I don't know where I'm going to be in the next 2, 3 months. I could be in Costa Rica. I'm working towards that. So I don't
Oh,
want to commit to something here if I don't know if I'm going to be here by January. So we'll see. And if
wow.
I do move, guys can all visit.
Oh, we would love to. We're going to come and visit you in Costa Rica, and we're going to
Yeah.
play tennis.
Yeah, and have fun. Go to the beach and get
This is
wild out there.
wonderful. Well, you are so powerful. You are manifesting the embodiment of the feeling of how you want to live. and you're making balance with the inner and the outer. So,
I'm
wow,
trying.
Nancy, this is a phenomenal. This is phenomenal.
I'm working on it. We'll see what happens.
Congratulations. Yeah,
But you know what?
Nancy.
Uh,
Nancy.
you, you know what? I've noticed that when it's sometimes when things are overwhelming, the easiest thing for me to let go to do is like let go. It's like, okay, I surrender, whatever.
Yes,
And I say, higher levels take control. Show me. Show me. What do I need to do? Show me.
yes.
Because sometimes you need clarity. And right now, I need some clarity on certain things. And I'm like, oh man, I need clarity. And I just keep asking, show me, show me. And then I just sit there open. So I'm waiting.
But this is
You
what you
know,
mentioned in the beginning about balance being part of inner knowing or inner knowing part of
yeah,
balance. This is
yeah.
exactly what you're mastering. Wow.
I'm working
Wow.
on it.
Look at us. Look at all of us, right? We're like
Yeah,
living it. We're living that flow state of non-attachment. You can call it whatever you want, right? But it's not letting
yeah,
the external circumstances drown you. Like I say, we let the oops, my alarm. We let the circumstances of life flow around us, not drown us. And then there's always hope, right? There's always hope there in
yeah.
in that place of deflecting, of not taking it all on for ourselves and
Mhm.
carrying that heaviness. Why, thank you. That was so uplifting, Nancy. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Anybody else want to share anything? We've hit our 9 o'clock, but I'm happy to stay on if someone has to leave. I understand. But Lucy, Daniela, Cheryl, did you want to share anything at all?
Well, I am learning to be kinder to myself.
Hmm.
Um, you can see with my gray hair that I came from an era when everybody wanted perfection.
Oh,
And uh, when I look at nature, we plant a seed and we have to wait until it grows. And I think everything is energy and we need to take time to recharge.
beautiful. Powerful. Patience, perseverance, persistence, presence, being, honoring our presence as you said, the seed takes time to germinate and push through the soil and start to grow. We can't force Mother Nature, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if we do, we can mess things up, which I think has happened quite a bit.
Well, the only other thing I can add to that is that I believe that we all come into life with a certain being, and you can't change a dog into a cat.
Yeah, that's right.
I say to people, uh, you can just be the best in that category,
That's right.
but you can't be something that you're not. And I am fascinated with, I've forgotten her name already, who is so different than me, and I find it so exhilarating.
Are you speaking about Nancy?
Yes,
Nancy, yeah, yeah.
but I
See?
can't be a Nancy. I'm a Lucy.
Exactly. That's the beauty, right? That's the beauty of the time we live in. We can be inspired by each other, but we don't have to be the same as someone else. We can inspire each other just by who we are, and then we come back to our center and live our own truth with that energy of inspiration.
And earlier, when you talked about the throat, uh, it hit a chord that is so true to me.
It's not discussed too often in the energy field, but it's a very ancient understanding of balance is this center here, right? From the throat, from the mouth down to the throat. It's where heaven and earth, mind and body, spirit and matter come together. There's a lot more. I mean, the column was very tiny highlight of those teachings, but there's a lot more on that. But we can feel it. You can feel the energy when something, you know, connects, when resonates, activates something. But well, thank you, Lucy. That was awesome insight. Really, really, that was very uh uh like deep and activating. I can feel that. Um,
Wisdom.
sorry, Dan?
She's full of wisdom.
Yes, 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 yes. We all are. We all are. We're all sharing our inner wisdom. And Daniela, you're gonna pass. Did you want to say
Well,
anything?
well, I was going to say, so for myself, because you said to let things flow around you, right? And to not let like the circumstances of outside bog you down. And right now, I'm definitely living in a state of everything bogging me down. But, attending these gives me that little bit of like, oh, I know this. Like, I know that, like, connecting with yourself, being true to yourself, like, is the way through it all. And, um, but yet, it's just I always let all the outer things influence me so much and like just take me down. It honestly just takes me down. The weight I feel with everything is tremendous and it's self-inflicted, really. Um, so tonight was really good. I've been jotting notes like crazy. Um, you talked about Taoist and the attachment and stuff like that. That is all very new to me, but it's intriguing because I think a lightness could come from taking some of these words, some of this wisdom that you're talking about, and applying it. And you guys are talking about let things sit. Nancy, you were saying like let it sit. Ask for the questions, they'll come. Be patient for the answer. So I appreciate all of you and everything you've shared, and it's quite meaningful to me and to hear everybody speak and all the wisdom that's always shared at these meetings every month. So um, tonight was really, really good. Thank you.
Well, thank you for being with us, and we're honored that you're here with us and finding insight. And I like to use the word activation, something within us gets sparked in
Yeah,
in a collective, and it happens
sure.
effortlessly. It
Okay,
happens yeah.
I need to say you just said sparked. When you said think about the word you want, my word was I am sparked.
Beautiful.
Interesting. Hmm.
Beautiful, Daniela. And then embody that, as we talked about in the very beginning. Remember the feeling, like the feeling of summertime and Dan, and for me it's autumn. I'm the autumn woman. I'm the autumn woman. When I leave the planet, it's going to be on a beautiful autumn night or something. I'm just going to dissolve into the leaves and the full moon. But so we all have our season, right? We all have our essence or energy. And but I love all the seasons, but we all have, our favorite. So your spark. So we're going to, before we leave this evening, we are going to remember that and then consciously commit to maintaining that feeling within ourselves, because that's our connection to our essence. Exactly what Lucy was saying. We are who we are, right? And we want to honor the essence of who we are. And right now, you have a spark within you, and we want to hold on to that. This is the thing, right? When we leave a gathering like this, whether it's on Zoom or it's a retreat, or you go to the theater, right? Art does the same thing, right? We want to come away, it's something's activated, sparked, and when we want to be consciously committing to maintaining that, because it's so easy to lose it when we go back to our life. So easy to become engulfed, right? And everything that's going on. And the beauty of the journey is as we become aware and as we master all of these things, everything gets easier and easier within ourselves. It doesn't mean things aren't going on externally, but we everything's less heavy. Everything's less heavy. Uh, and then we can see the truth, we can hold it. We have less need for denial, and less need for avoidance, and can move forward knowing you have yourself. I have myself. I always have myself. Cheryl, was there anything that you wanted to share with us this evening? You don't have to if you don't want to,
Yeah.
but anything
No, that's
else?
fine. I think I'll pass. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so it's up to you guys if you want to stay on. I'm going to share about 7 minutes or so of a silent long distance Reiki sending. So if you have to leave, that's totally fine, but you're welcome to stay. And I'm going to channel the Reiki energy to the group. So to keep her energy flowing and to have some clearing and alignment and re-energizing. So I'm going to mute. So let's take a nice deep breath. And imagine yourself in a beautiful place, in perfect health and balance in every way, and a magnificent white river of light coming in, healing every cell in your body. Let's take a nice deep breath. There we go. And let's return to from the beginning. At the beginning, we talked about think about one aligned action that we're going to take after our gathering today to embody the state of being that we want to feel. This is our birthright, and we have free will choice. Eleanor Roosevelt said, the only person who can make you feel bad about yourself is you. Right? So we have free will choice of how we want to feel, and we master our circumstances and our inner state so we can experience that. So think about that one aligned action, and then join us next time. Join us next time. We'll hold you accountable to that action. Any last thoughts? Any last sharing for this evening? No?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have to, Lydia, this is the first time you made my eyes water, and I had no control of you doing that. It's okay.
During the Reiki?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not me, it's the universal energy. I'm not responsible. That's the Reiki principle. We're not
Okay.
responsible. We take responsibility for the channeling, but not the result. You create the
Okay.
results. You balance the energy coming in, creates the balance that's required in the body for the highest alignment. And that means detoxifying, that means repairing, that means releasing, dissolving, all of those, regenerating. So thank you for sharing that, Martin. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else? Okay, well, thank you. Thank you. You are all each great conscious leaders. Remember that. And remember to keep living that energy, the essence of who you are. And I am here, so reach out to me. And I have a new page on my website. It's not completed, but I'm getting there, of my group coaching programs and retreats and courses. So take a look at the courses, programs, retreats page. It's being built out. And I've always offered one-on-one private services, one-on-one Reiki, one-on-one coaching, one-on-one macrobiotics, one-on-one retreats. So reach out to me. I'm here to support you. Okay, lots of love.
Take care.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all.
Thank you. So I guess we meet next month.
Yes, once a month.
Okay, sounds great. See you
Okay,
next month.
Thank
thank
you,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Lydia.
Take care. Thank you,
Hey,
everybody.
Bye.
Lydia,
Have a good
I
night.
I have a quick question. Sorry, it's
Yes.
related to horses.
Sure, yeah, I can stay on.
Okay, so when you do Reiki for a human,
Yeah.
have you ever had the horse help you and be in the same space to do Reiki on a human,
You mean physically or spiritually or both?
physically in the same space?
Yeah, that's what we do in our equine therapy
Okay,
retreats and our equine therapy sessions. So the horse
okay,
is present. And we don't do like obstacle courses or riding, which is fine. There's all different styles of equine therapy, or they have all these names now that they're
yeah,
equine assisted learning. And I call it
okay,
equine therapy because I have a degree in psychology and animal
okay,
behavior.
okay,
But and so we basically meditate. So we stand in silence, stillness, presence with the horses. And just like a Reiki session, it magically activates what we need for balance. So we have emotions come up or insights or clarity. And then there's a process, you come to the equine healing retreat or the equine session, we have a questionnaire to fill out. What would you like to work on? And then people choose a horse or a horse chooses them, and we stand beside them, or we sit beside them on a bale of straw or something, and then we are still. So I have found in my decades of being with humans and horses that it's one of the hardest things for humans is to stand in silence and stillness.
Well, so
So
it's funny. I've never known that that's what you do. After all these years, I never asked that question. Oh my goodness. Because I sent you this video of this lady who does that, and she had like 5 horses around the client. And I've
yeah,
never seen that anything in my life. And I thought, and like the horse put the head like on the body of the client, and I was just blown away. I just
yeah,
like because I know that uh, horses have huge energy and it goes far, far away, and we have a little tiny aura and they have a huge. That's all I know, but I had no idea that you did that. That's so cool. Thank you for educating me.
you asked, it came up at the
I
perfect
know.
time. But they're always so the Heart Math Institute did that famous study years ago where they
Yeah,
measured like with electrodes and all sorts of, instruments, the electromagnetic field of a horse's heart, and it was 5 times larger than a human. So so then they measured humans, they hooked them up to machines or whatever, and they measured, their heart rate and, indications of anxiety or stress and all that. And just being in the presence of a horse, just standing beside a horse is life-changing.
yeah,
You
yeah.
have come for a life-changing experience guided by the heart of a horse. And this is not just in therapy sessions. This happens
No,
every day on a ranch. We have workers on the ranch. We have volunteers from around the world here, and they like regularly, I don't even think of it. They regularly will come out and say to me, I was just standing, even with the fence, everything in between, beside Raven or Spring Rose. And they, like, the words they will say is they healed me. I don't know what's happened. Something's changed. I feel released of something. And they weren't even doing an official session. They weren't doing like an awareness of what you want to work on or choosing a horse. It happens. It happened last winter. There was a wonderful young couple from France, and we were taking our senior Rocky out in the snow for a walk. She was just leading him through the snow, and she started to cry. And I said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "Yeah." She goes, "There's something about being with Rocky. Like I'm just releasing all this tension. I'm releasing everything I've been storing." And that was just her taking him for a walk. A wonderful volunteer from Japan was here a couple of years ago, and it was her day off. She went to visit the horses, and I was in the little barn doing, and she came in tears. And I said, "Are you all right?" And she said, "Yeah." She said, "Macy healed me." I said, "What do you mean?" She goes, "I don't know. I was standing beside her and just kind of scratching her bum, and an energy moved through me." So this is why I say every horse is a pillar of light. Every horse is a pillar of light. Wherever there are horses, there's a pillar of light. And a friend came up, a colleague came up for a private retreat last week, and as she was leaving, she just went to say goodbye to Raven, and same thing. I don't expect it. It's just it keeps coming up. It happens naturally. Because they are bridges of heaven and earth, and this is why I'm so passionate about saving horses, right? But thank you, Martin. So, and also what happens sometimes when I'm doing energy healing sessions, the horses will come in. So I have dreams of the horses, and not just to me, but to the client. So maybe 20 years ago, I did a Reiki session with a client, and she said to me, "Your horses came." She wasn't connected with horses at all. And then when I went on social media a few years ago, we reconnected, and she said, "I still remember when Trigger came to me in that Reiki session 20 years ago." I had no clue that was happening. I was in my empty mind. And so we're in the presence of magical spiritual beings all around us, but we are also magical spiritual beings, right?
Yeah, I was standing outside and there was a horse. There was something. And that was back in the time that I thought, oh, I don't want people to protest, to trespass. I'm going to put a sign up. So this is like maybe 500 feet away. And I like walked really fast. I thought, oh, I don't want them to trespass. Got to the end of the woodlot, and who do you think was there?
A
A
horse.
horse and a rider. So I could feel the horse's energy 500 feet away.
There you
I
go.
was just blown away. And I don't even work with horses.
But you don't have to, that's it. Like I
Yeah,
didn't think about horses for years. We had horses when I was young, and obviously I was connected to them. I was very young. You know, then you're young, your parents sell them. You have no control, right? You're like a little
yeah,
kid. And then I didn't think about horses. I love all animals. And then they started coming to me in dreams when I was in my deep cocoon of healing, when I was going through my big inner transformation, and they started coming to me as beings of white light, and talking to me, and other animals too, and human, like humanoid forms of white light. And that's what got me on this path, right? I'm not a policy analyst anymore. It's been a while. It's been a while. And then the actual physical horses didn't come into my life until a few years after that when I met Trigger. Dan remembers Trigger. Yeah, I remember the beautiful thing you mentioned when Trigger passed
Trig
away, Dan.
Trigger lived until 43, correct?
Yes, yes, yeah. He was almost
Okay.
44. Yeah. And we think he was in his 50s because the kill buyers who send horses to slaughter, they usually give you an age 10 or 15 years younger. So we think that Trigger was probably around his mid 50s. Same with Woody. Same with Woody. But he was my first rescue horse. I mean, that's the term used, right? Rescue. And but I hadn't, like Martin, I hadn't thought about horses. I wasn't a person who always wanted to be with horses. When I was ready, then they came to me, and then they kept coming, and they were like, you're it for this mission. Like, you're like, we're not going to let you forget it. And not just me, but I mean thousands of other people as well. So, and then it was like, okay, all right, I'm on it. Be patient with me. I'm just a little humble human. I'm trying to I'm trying to keep up with you, right? But horses guide me all the time, and I mean they're my spirit guides, and they have the duality that we have. They are wise masters, and they also need help, right? Because they're being eradicated. There's a
Yeah.
holocaust of horses on the planet. So they're the both, right? They need our help, but then they're also helping us. That's why I call it uniting humans and horses in love. Uniting humans and horses in love. And but thank you for bringing that up, Martin. That's yeah, that's I'm in that energy all the time. And I have clients coming for VIP days or retreats, and the horses are involved in some way, shape, or form, or we just do an equine healing retreat. And it's very relaxed. We don't, we have a system for the therapeutic or the coaching process, but with the horses, it's very relaxed. And I support every approach to that. So some people may have someone lying on a treatment table and the horses come over. Other people may ride the horses. Other people may clean their hooves and do obstacle courses, or I mean, we basically meditate, you might say, with the horses. So whatever approach someone wants to take, I fully support that. But just being in the presence, and we can call on their energy and invite them in. But I was really blown away when 20 years later, a client that I reconnected with on social media remembered that one of my horses came to her during the Reiki session. She remembered that forever.
Yeah,
Right?
I was at the fall fair a couple of years ago, and I had my camera, and I said, "Do you mind if I like come close and take a picture of the horse?" And the horse didn't move an inch. And then the owner, who was, riding the horse, said to me, "She likes you, like she's comfortable. Obviously, she's not scared of the camera or me or anything." So that was really cool too. And I didn't say anything. Didn't come in contact with the horse because the horse doesn't know me. And I said, "Well, how long would it take for a horse to be comfortable with me?" And she said, "Probably about a day." And I thought, wow, that's pretty cool.
It really depends. It depends on the horse, depends on the human.
Yeah,
We just
okay.
let it, we
Yeah,
just let it. I mean, I often, I don't like the word rescue, but that's the word we use. I rescue horses from the
yeah,
slaughter pipeline. And, um, and sometimes they have so much trauma, like it takes years, right?
yeah.
And you just stand in presence. I haven't worked with thousands of horses, but I've never met a horse that was a mean horse or a bad horse. They just have trauma, or they had bad teeth. They had a tooth problem or something. They can't tell you, or they have ulcers or something, and they act out differently. But I used to sleep with my horses. All these things you didn't know about me, Martin. That's what I'm getting back to. I'm getting back to that. That's my mission, is to get back to sleep under the stars in all weather, Dan. In all
Not
weather.
just not just in the summer, Dan,
Not just
okay?
in the summer. You get all your winter gear on, and the moonlight and the snow, and the moonlight on the snow sparkles like diamonds, and there's no leaves on the trees, and you dissolve into the oneness of the universe laying beside your horse outside. Every season has it, and Dan's dissolving on a sailboat in the wind, and the salt, or the whatever, the lake air, and you're just, I can feel that too. I mean, that is, then you're dissolving in the elements there. I mean, you're so close, you're in the elements there,
Both
right?
sound pretty great.
Both are really good. Yeah. Both are really good. Okay, wonderful. Okay, thanks again, guys. Lots of
Thank
blessings. Nice to
you.
see you all,
Thank
and
you
join
all.
us
Thank you,
again.
Lydia.
And I'm here to help you. Okay, if you need help, to reach out and come visit the horses. Okay,
Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Bye.